This response is into Mr. PROTHINK. Um, I looked at your video. I stumbled upon it by accident, actually. But I'm an objective person. I took the time to look at it in its entirety. I do believe that some of the things that you mentioned about the media putting things out in a way to cause racial wars is possibly true in effect. Calling someone a George Zimmerman defender before they get a chance to even defend whether or not he's defending anything at all is, a fallacy that the media does a lot of times in mislabeling a lot of things. Unfortunately, there were some things that you mentioned about following Trayvon Martin. We have to look at the reason why he followed him. I believe that you believe that he was within his full rights to follow him, is what you said. But unfortunately, in a new Fox exclusive, George Zimmerman himself, in front of America, denied following him. And the question is, why would he deny following someone if he was well within his rights to do so? That's the question of the day. Whether the 911 caller had the right to tell him not to follow him could be true. And whether, like what you mentioned, whether he didn't have the right to tell him not to follow him, true. But why would George Zimmerman deny following him now if he was well within his rights to do so? That's the question. Was Zimmerman in fear of his death, of his life? Honestly, I can't say that I believe he was, but we weren't there. None of us can see it. There were several witnesses that say one thing, and there were several witnesses that say the other thing, and meaning in both ways. But I respected your video at first. I felt that you had a deep intelligence until I realized that there's no objective. You're not objective. Your view is very myopic. Unfortunately, to be able to carry on and have a place in this world where you can be respected for your opinions, you have to be objective to both sides of a story. And if you limit yourself to one side of a story, even if you have based on facts that you do have, then at some point your intelligence decreases because you've limited yourself to another form of information. There are several other forms of information that point to Zimmerman actually murdering him. Actually, there are points of people saying that he got off of top of him, that he was face down on the ground. This is from a person right over on Anderson 360 who did not want, of course, to have their name revealed. So from that point, I mean, just within itself, that's a witness that you even used to say that there was something in the opposite. Neither one of us were there. No one was there. If they were there to see this, then, then in case it would be a different story. But I say all this to say this. I made this video all that to say this, is that I would hope that, in your scope of things, I see that you make a lot of videos about a lot of different touchy subjects. I would hope that you would be able to broaden your scope just slightly. I mean, how can you support someone who within himself is denying that he even chased the guy now? I mean, there's so many holes in his story now. He says that he was 100 feet away from his car in the exclusive. But then he also says that the guy came up to him while he was at his car. But he was 100 feet away from his vehicle. Very interesting. In the 911 tapes, he gives away his address to the 911 distributor. He says that, but in the exclusive, he says that he did not give away his address to anyone because he did not want other people to know what his address was because they would know where he lived at. But if he was a neighborhood watch person, everyone in the neighborhood should have known where he lived at. I mean, he's a person that protects the neighborhood. He gave the address away twice. He said he did not in the exclusive. Also in the exclusive, he said that he wasn't running. He said he was skipping or moving fastly. In the 911, he said that he was running. So it's very confusing as to his story. He has not had a clear story, and if you can respond to showing me how he can have a clear story, how you can explain why he's denying following someone if he was well within his rights to do so, then we can objectively talk about it. I'm kind of sadly disappointed that you would even engage in going back and forth with people with racial slurs and talking in ways that get you nowhere. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it in an intelligent way. Let's talk about it in a way where we can debate about it and come to a conclusive answer.